Madam Secretary, can you kindly explain the projected decrease of $9 million worth of royalty revenue going into the oil and gas lease? And this is royalty realized on state forest lands.
Okay, yeah, we've seen a decline in the money that they're getting, so the decline in the cost that they're getting for natural gas. So we're seeing a decline in the revenues coming in from that. As far as the exact number, John, maybe I'll turn to you on the actual decline. We're seeing overall weakness in that market, and I don't think we'll be seeing that change anytime soon. The one thing that might have changed that would have been a harsh winter, and it doesn't appear that's going to happen.
A couple of things. Wells, when they're first fracked, they're the strongest that they're ever going to be. So as those wells start to age, the production goes down. So you have less gas coming out of each well. As the Secretary said, the gas prices now, if you adjust them with inflation, that they are the lowest they've ever been in recorded history here in Pennsylvania. I was talking to a CEO of a gas company about 3 weeks ago, and at the Leidy station, they were getting $1.73 per MCF, which is extremely low, and for some companies, depending on their lease or their contract, maybe less than what it's costing them to produce the gas.
So we can conclude that the largest factor is the depressed commodity price for natural gas?
Yes.
I would say yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Can you kindly share with us the current number of drilling operations and how many operators we're using?
I'm going to turn to John on that one too. I do know we only have one rig out on the forest landscape right now, and it's on a severed lease operated by Seneca, and there's a possibility of a few more rigs coming out onto state land. And just remind everybody, there's two kinds of gas leases out there. Some are the severed rights, where DCNR has can work with a company to really place roads and pads, and then there's the lease lands where we have a lot of control through the lease agreement. And so I'll have John go through the actual numbers on what we see and what the forecast looks like.
Sure. So there's right now there's 528 wells on state forest and parklands, and the unconventional wells are all on state forest land, but there are some unconventional wells on state parklands. Of that, there's 180 well pads. And as the Secretary said, there's currently one rig working. I think it's Seneca's working in the Elk State Forest. And I believe that Alta is either working there now or getting ready to start work in the Ty-Dotton. The information that we've received from industry is that we can expect maybe 2, maybe 3 at most rigs on state forest lands over the next coming year.
So you mentioned there's 528 wells presently on state forest land?
Forest and parklands, yes.
Okay. And following that theme, how many acres are yet available for development?
So the leases that we have, they're 35% developed, so that would leave.
Right. So we have
65.
over 251,000 acres of state forest lands that are currently leased through the Commonwealth leases. And then there's another segment of lands that are have severed rights, and some of those are some of those are working right now, but like the Secretary said, we're estimated about 35% of the lands available for gas exploration right now is being explored.
Thank you. I want to shift gears a little bit. Madam Secretary, are you aware of a recent multi-parameter collaborative study? And the collaborators are PA-DCNR, PA-DEP, and the U.S. Geological Survey. Said study examined 25 PA watersheds over the course of 2 years, looking for a correlation between hydraulic fracturing and local streams. The study concluded there is no impact from hydraulic fracturing on local streams. And this study is just the latest objective scientific study that proves that natural gas development can be done and is being done without any detrimental effect on water quality. Can you speak to the study?
Sure. We were all relieved, obviously, at the finding of that study. We did leases on the state forest land in 08 and 10, and at that time we set up a rigorous monitoring program on those 3 large leases, and water was part of it, and that's I think it's the second more comprehensive study about the water that showed no significant impact. The findings of our monitoring, which are we've been publishing the monitoring findings every 5 years, but we decided that we would continuously update the monitoring findings as we get data. It did show invasive species issues, like as with any disturbed soil, whether it's a road, whether it's a trail, whatever it is, it's a pathway for invasive plant species and even animals. So there's an increase in that, and there's an increase in fragmentation. But we were relieved, obviously, about the water quality issue, and we'll continue that monitoring on a long-term basis.